In the Seven Deadly Sins, we found out who the final antagonists were going to be. They were gods, the Demon King, the Supreme Deity, and a little bit of a leeway to the prequel series, Cath Palud. But now with the sequel series, who is going to be the final antagonist? Final antagonists in an anime and manga series, especially with shonen, tend to be a little divisive. There's usually a clear sign, but then every now and then there's a surprise twist. It wasn't this person all along, it was this person. I'm looking at you, Naruto. You had potential, but then you messed it up at the very end. Why? Anyway, for a while now, a lot of fans have been thinking maybe it's going to be Arthur Pendragon, putting a little twist onto Arthurian legends, with Arthur being the bad guy. What a twist! However, this is still a shonen series, and there may or may not be a twist here and there, because who knows? Maybe there could be another twist that follows Arthurian legends yet again. Because Arthurian legends does have major antagonists towards Arthur Pendragon. They could be heroes or surprise villains. The first option is, of course, Lancelot. Now, I know what you're thinking. Lancelot? But he's a good guy. He's one of the four knights meant to bring war and death and plague and misery upon Camelot. Okay, that sounds terrible. Yeah, I can see why Camelot sees these guys as the major antagonists of their story, but we're going to talk about what Lancelot could do. Lancelot's whole story is his love for Guinevere. Depending on which legends you take from Arthurian legends, Lancelot's story was mostly about forbidden love, or, in some iterations, lust. I think he's had too much interactions with Gother. But in this series, it seems to be more about getting Guinevere out of a hopeless, loveless marriage. Which, thankfully, in this case, it is just symbolic and not in any way ewy. I mean, just, god damn it, why? Why, Nakba? Why? Why did you do this? Oh god. But in iterations with Arthurian legends, Lancelot and Arthur tend to face off, despite at times they tend to be buddy-buddy and Lancelot serves Arthur, even though now it's kind of weird. He's trying to kill him, but we're going to get to that later. So, there could be a surprise twist. A lot of people say that Lancelot might betray the Four Knights for Guinevere, given a couple of time skips later, but there's going to be a surprise twist, and Lancelot turns on his own friends. Because love. All I can say, I mean, Bond did it. He turned against Meliodas when he thought he was going to get a chance to save Elaine, so maybe Lancelot's going to do the same thing with his friends just to save Guinevere. However, I do want to see more of these two interacting platonically first before we get into the whole romantic subcategory, because ew, why? But the major antagonist of the series is, of course, Arthur Pendragon. Yes, Arthur, the kid who used to be just a Seven Deadly Sins fanboy for Meliodas. Somehow, we don't know how, he made a complete 180 on his personality and sees every other race that isn't human a threat to humanity, and thus either needs to be isolated or exterminated. Yeah, Arthur is a full-blown racist. A magic racist. Not the one you're probably thinking of, no. No one knows how this even happened. I mean, years ago, he was fighting with the Seven Deadly Sins, the most diverse cast ever. He fought with a giant, a fairy, an immortal human, a human with the grace of the goddess clan, a demon, and a goddess. We don't know what happened during that twist. Some say that chaos just messed with his mind. Maybe it's like the darker aspect of him manipulating his mind into thinking this way. We don't know what happened, but all we know is that there's going to be something with Arthur later. And fans are hyped. Yeah, this weak little pipsqueak is now a hype-ass boss. I think my friend Creequee would definitely agree with me on that one. And we don't know the full potential of Arthur. This guy is a mortal god. He can create anything from practically nothing. Kind of. You know why he has a metal arm? Because every time he tries making a new one, something like this happens. He went head on against Lancelot and Tristan and the other 4 members of the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse. Why? To test them. They were still young, and he was only testing them. He wanted them to go full out while he was just playing with them. Yes, so we don't know the full potential of what Arthur can do when he goes full out. I mean, this guy created a whole magical dimension. As it stands now, Arthur is definitely a major antagonist. There's going to be a fight later on, but the question is, who's going to be the real final boss? I ask this because in Arthurian legends, Tristan, Percival, Gawain, and Lancelot were all members of the Round Table with King Arthur. They were his knights, fellow brothers in arms. So, what's going to happen? Something is clearly going to happen. The 4 knights and Arthur might be joining forces, but the question is, against who? Well, if you look back at Arthurian legends, there are 2 figures who stand against King Arthur, and they are Morgan La Fay and her son, Mordred. These 2 are iconic antagonists in Arthurian legends, with Morgan Le Fay said to be equal in terms of power against Merlin, while Mordred, her son, and also Arthur's son, being able to usurp his father and even dealing a deadly blow against him, so much so that it sent him to Avalon, where he waits to rescue England. Someday. We don't know when. So yeah, mother and son could be surprise villains for the end, with Morgan trying to act as a queen while her son Mordred acts more like a figurehead or a puppet king. Who knows what's gonna happen, but all I can say is I hope Nakaba, please don't let this be Cat. Don't let this be Cat. Or at the very worst, don't let this be Kaguya from Naruto. Surprise villains are good, but let the ends build up and let it be good. I know it's hard to pull, but please, do not be these 2. Who do you think is going to be the final boss of 7 Deadly Sins, 4 Knights of the Apocalypse? Let me down in the comments. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I'll see you guys next time.